All right, everybody, welcome back to SnapperChat, the best, biggest, most resourceful podcast in the solar industry. Our goal is really to just add as much value as we can for you guys every single day. So we told you guys that we're going to do 1,000,000 podcasts, and we're on day 3. We've got our 3rd podcast right now. And guys, something happened in the solar industry yesterday. So we kind of wanted to have, I don't want to call this an emergency meeting, but this is an emergency meeting. I'm just joking. But for real, guys, it's a lot of reps are asking questions. I've had over a dozen texts. Will, what's going on? You've got a voice in the industry, and we want to know what's going on and what your thoughts are about what happened yesterday with a big another player in the industry called SUNPOWER that just went out of business. And so, guys, my name is Will Armitz. If you don't know, co-founder of Snapper Academy. We've been doing this for the last 3 years. I've got Matt Beeler, my co-host down here, media director for Snapper Academy. Wouldn't be able to do even this podcast without him. And we've got a special guest today, none other than Jonathan Gibbs. Now, guys, Jonathan Gibbs has been in the industry for a very long time. He's done it at the highest level. He's been an executive in the solar industry. Can't say enough good things about Jonathan Gibbs. And so we really just want to get right into it, Gibbs. I'd love to hear your perspective of what happened yesterday with SUNPOWER and how it affects the solar industry. And thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, love your content from day one. Been following you for a really long time. I think what you guys are doing is really valuable, and it's hard to do what you're doing. Like we all know that you work with Nevo, but you also are creating content that we can all use, and that's really special. To use your platform in a company to help other people in other companies. So I'm happy to participate.
Awesome. So yeah, just to get right into it, I mean, you know what happened at SunPower, and a lot of these reps, they're so confused. They have no idea what's going on. So if you could just kind of explain it from your point of view as somebody that's been in the industry longer than most people have, of what really happened and how that affects our industry.
I mean, I knew what was happening at Empire and Titan and other things because I had, inside information. I'd seen, I'd been working in the same marketplaces. I don't actually have friends on the executive level at SunPower. I don't know, but we can speculate by the information that's out there what is happening. Like the information yesterday, you guys, this is the most serious press. Like they couldn't have had a stronger press release. So the press release, if you look at the announcement, the email is, we are ceasing operations as of right now. We are canceling jobs in the pipeline. Even ADT did not cancel jobs in the pipeline. ADT continued, like Jamie Honey worked with her team, president of ADT Solar. She helped her sales reps transition over months. She went on a personal tour for 40 days and all the offices to let people know, no, we're going to, like all the work that you did over the last 90 days, you're going to get paid on it. And they lost money to do that. Like ADT could have done this. They would have saved millions of dollars if they had done something like this, but they didn't. They took a longer road because they were backed by an $8 billion publicly traded company that had cash flow, and they got their employees paid on previous work. They got their partners paid on previous work, and they shut down things slowly, a little more responsibly. This is more of an emergency type move. And if you look at the press releases for the last 6 months, something happened really fast here. I mean, they're canceling jobs in a pipeline. That's huge. They're saying we're not going to take any new business. We're not going to finish some of these open jobs like effective immediately. It's very short. This is like writing on the wall. If you look at their press releases, if you go to their website, there's a lot of other indicators of that. This is kind of the final notice here. First of all, in February 23rd, SunPower secures $300 million in project financing for residential solar leases and storage, right? So they had potentially raised money for this lease product that they are now ending. So their lease partners could have been nervous and could have pulled the plug on this. Or there wasn't enough margin. In either scenario, right? This is really bad news because either they got the money and they still don't want to do the work now, even though they had the money to do the leases, or they didn't get the money. The money got nervous and pulled the plug, and so now they were done. And then you see 4 days later, the CEO announces a transition, right? And so they were waiting for some type of good news to run ahead of the CEO stepping down. And they secure that $300 million. And then the CEO steps down really quickly, but that had probably been in the works for a while. They're filing their earning reports late. They don't want to report their earnings on time. They had 2 delinquent notices in March and May for quarterly filings. And then they had a draw against a lien, right? So they borrowed another $50 million on June 3rd and just to run their business. So they were, they were going into debt. And then I think someone just took a look at it, obviously yesterday, and said, no, we're done. And on July 3rd, they hired an independent accounting firm. This normally happens at the beginning of a bankruptcy filing or a massive restructuring to go out and hire a big accounting firm because it protects the executives for making the decisions themselves as you go through bankruptcy. If you want to get your company approved through a bankruptcy, they're going to audit all your spending the year before the bankruptcy. And so what sophisticated executives do and the executive team does is they come on, they bring in a legal firm or an accounting firm to make those decisions for them, to help them so that there is some distance in between the people that could benefit from the decisions and the bankruptcy filing. And so, I mean, I think the writing on the wall is they're done. I think what we're going to see, since they do have some assets, they have a commercial division that they haven't actually commented on yet. They have the manufacturing. They have the lease that they can sell. Right now they're trading at around $400 million. In the mid twos price per share. Everybody shorting. I mean, JP Morgan, has been shorting the stock. There's other people that, have had it as a sell for a long time now. People are projecting $1, which is going to really bring this company down to an area where it's going to be delisted from the NASDAQ. And so they know this and they're restructuring. And I think that, what's driving a lot of this, you guys, and I've been talking about this for 5 years, is they have been selling solar in Australia for $2 a watt for 4 years now. Like when we were building Lumia, I was talking about this in January, February, March of 2021, that they were selling solar in Australia for $2. Right now, you can buy solar fully installed in Germany, in Australia, and in Mexico for like $1.20, $1.30, like fully installed per watt. I'm surprised that we are selling solar at the price point that we are right now in America. One of the reasons why we built Lumio is we wanted to get those unit economics so we can compete in a $2 price range. And I think that these creative financing vehicles has just like stretched that period out, but I've never seen it. Like I've never thought that we were going to kind of slowly go down, right? From like the 4 to 350 to like, I always thought it was going to be a cliff. Elon's selling solar right now for $2 a watt. He's been selling solar. Tesla's been selling solar right now for $2 a watt. And I think, if you read between the lines and some of the other press releases is what they're talking about, going to a fixed cost model, like that's an Easter egg. If you want to kind of drill down on that, like that's what Tesla did.
What do you mean by Easter egg?
Like a hidden gem, like when you like in a video game, you find a clue or an Easter egg, right? And so there's clues sometimes in kind of the language that companies are using as to, they deliberately use language now to set up, their future announcements. And my only guess is, I mean, this is what Solar City did. Solar City stopped everything in one moment. It was nope. And they shut everything off. They reduced liabilities and and merging into Tesla. I mean, they ceased like they let go of all the salespeople at one time. And then they put solar for sale on their website. And, the difference between now and 2016 is now you can build an AI salesperson that can really do the same work. I mean, like I've had 11,000 salespeople work for me in solar, and we've been selling solar in a text message now for a year, and it costs me about 18 cents to sell solar in a text message versus $5,000 to $10,000 commission, plus all the support of a traditional sales rep.
So for all the reps that are watching, that they're sitting at home and they have customers bring this up, that they see the news articles that some of these large installers are going out of business, what's a few of the things that the sales reps can relay to the homeowners to build that trust back with the product and solar and the industry itself?
This is a tough one. There are third party insurance, like warranty products that you can buy and attach, and you just want to make sure like who is underwriting them. Like if like a large policy holder is underwriting it, that is something that sales and install companies can look at to give their customers confidence. a lot of these policies cost $500-600. You have to fund the policy at the time of purchase. But then you get, if you have Lloyd's of London backing you, or you have another large insurance company backing you, I think you're going to see these things. We've started to see the finance companies go this direction, including some type of warranty in their product. I used to compete like this. I used to compete against Solar City, Varango Solar, Suncrest Solar. These companies had raised hundreds of millions of dollars. And at Smart Energy today, we were like a $50 million company. And I would sit down in front of our customers and I would say, who do you think is going to be in business long term? These great big companies that are losing money every year, or a small mom and pop who, like, this is our life, this is our career, like this is what we do locally here, supporting, we've been living here for 10 years in this community, 15 years in this community, we've been profitable every single year, and we would win business. Unfortunately, it is going to be hard. Like, we are all going to lose sales right now based on consumer confidence. There's an article out there. I'll try to reference it for you on our next call, but the people know that they can save money going solar right now. The number one objection in consumers' minds is, I don't know what company is safe to go with. So this is going to be a big objection. And then, in about 30 days, what you're going to experience is another objection, which is, I want to see who wins the election first. I want to see who happens. So we're actually dealing with a really tough objection series going here over like the next 3 to 4 months.
And you said that you did a training on what happened yesterday with the attempted assassination with President Trump, and that you'd be willing to kind of come on here and do another one of these podcasts with us with SnapperChats and kind of talk about what that meant for the solar industry. So stay tuned for that, guys. I'd love to have you guys all comment in the chat. I'm sure you have a ton of questions right now for Jonathan Gibbs, but your time is valuable, and I know that you only had a couple more minutes. So to bring this conversation home and this podcast home, and again, I appreciate you for coming on, is, again, like, if you could put your finger on like one or two things that SunPower did that made them to kind of crumble, right, these last couple of days, because it doesn't sound like it was just one thing that happened last week, right? It's been the last couple of years. You saw the writing on the wall. And then what can reps look for over the next couple weeks, months, and years? Because solar is still an incredible opportunity. Just because there's companies going out of business left and right to the tune of hundreds of businesses, which is absolutely insane, it's still an incredible industry. But what are the things that people need to look at when they're looking for the right solar company to look at in order to make sure that they're doing it the right way, that they're able to take care of the homeowners, and that they're able to make money?
Well, actually, a lot of big companies haven't made. I mean, Sunrun has never made money. I mean, they've never been profitable. Their lease vehicles profitable. Vivint only had a couple years of profit. I mean, a lot of the big companies have actually never made money, and investors were hoping that they would get a head start and turn around and make money. I think what reps should be looking for is people with actual business experience in solar, because there was so much upfront money. Basically, anybody could afford to start a solar company, and a lot of good people. I mean, some of these people that have gone out of business, they're friends of mine and they're good humans. But I'll figure it out isn't a strategy. So you had a lot of people starting installation companies that had no experience in project management, didn't hire experienced project managers for workflow, had no sophisticated accounting mechanisms. You've heard me talk about a lot of people doing cash-based accounting versus job cost accrual-based accounting, and really most people really didn't know that they weren't making money. If you're getting 50 to 80% M1s up front, but you have a 50% cancellation rate, how do you know how to attribute which money is yours or not yours if you're not tracking it per job, per file, per project, per permit? And most people weren't tracking it at that. So you definitely want, I mean, not to be a broken record, but you definitely want to work with a company that's doing, accrual accounting. What is the experience of the people that you're working with? Are they just trying real hard? Do they have good intentions? I mean, good intentions is not going to be enough to survive, much less thrive over the next couple of years here. If you have a small team, it's probably less important. You can find a local installer, make sure they have enough cash in the bank to take your deals. And you're doing 5 to 20 deals a month. You're probably really safe in those areas. But if you're a builder and you want to do 100 deals a month or 200 deals a month, you really don't have a lot of options. And I would encourage reps to be more realistic. I mean, we need to stop, hunting red lines. All these advances and all these upfront pays are actually crippling the installer, right? Like installers that don't have a lot of cash flow when they're, doing these expensive trips and these expensive giveaways and doing upfront cash, just so they can get the sales in. What a lot of reps don't realize is they're doing a lot of creative accounting on the back end. Honestly, the next big thing I'm really watching is Freedom. I mean, Freedom really hasn't made money in the last few years, unless they've been stealing from their reps. I mean, the amounts that they've stolen for their reps are in the tens of millions of dollars, like $45 million from Sunder, $15 million from Caliber. I mean, these are large amounts of commissions that have been withheld that, really create the difference between profit and loss. And so, I don't know that there's a silver bullet that can protect reps right now. If the company will sit down with you and show you the financials and you have the ability to understand them, that's what I would ask for. I'd want to see companies' financials. I'd want to see their game plan. I'd want to talk to them about the things they're doing in operations, the plan, like where do you see the market in the next couple of years? I mean, you guys have seen on my Facebook, like I told everybody Titan was going out of business in April. And yet reps kept sending them business, right? Like people, the mentality is there has been a mentality in the industry, which is it's not my problem, right? So sales reps, if they know they're getting a low red line and you say, hey, that company's not healthy, they're probably going out of business a couple months. I've heard a lot of sales reps say, well, that's not my problem. We all have to start taking responsibility for the customer. If you're going to sit in front of a customer and you're going to sell them a deal and make commissions, like you need to be conscious. You need to have some type of social awareness and accountability. Like, how is this customer going to get service? Like it's on all of us to take care of this industry, because when solar is sold the right way, it's the most beautiful product in the world to sell. I mean, like right now, right? Like our company, our country is in so much uncertainty, and if you lose electricity, you lose heating, cooling, refrigeration. You lose the ability to attend school remotely, work remotely. It hurts your mental health. In some cases, you lose your ability to access like water, Wi-Fi, and gas. I mean, it's so critical. And solar plus a battery can give us the only certainty that we can provide for our family, like these core basic needs on a daily basis during a time of extreme uncertainty, with everything that's going on in politics and the economy, inflation, and now with these solar companies. It is a great product. It is a great industry. It will live, but we need to start being more realistic. We need to be selling the price. We need to be selling solar for less to our customers. We need to be interviewing companies. We need to be doing more due diligence. We need to care about who we work for and who we work with. We need to be truthful and honest with the things that we're saying, because we need to self-regulate more, and we can save this industry. Like solar will go to 20% in America. We have an amazing opportunity. It's going to be great, but I think it's going to look wildly different over the next 10 years than the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. So, guys, again, this was our Snapper Chat podcast, where again our goal is just to add as much value for you guys as possible. And something happened in the industry today, so we wanted to talk about it, and that's why we brought on an extremely talented and well informed, with all the resources in the world. And just, I mean, you can tell in his voice, guys, that Gibbs does really care. He wants to do it the right way. His heart's in the right place, and he's been here. Right, this is something that he knew it was happening. And this was his take on the situation. And so my biggest takeaway is that you want to make sure that when you're doing solar, that you're making sure that you're doing it the right way, and that you really look at all the different finances, you look at the warranties, and you make sure that you're just able to put your homeowners in the best possible situation. And so if you're not doing that, make sure that you guys spend this week and this weekend making sure that you're ready to do that. Because guys, we're halfway through 2024, 2 weeks into Q3, and it's go time right now, right? There's still 20-30 million homeowners that need to go solar, probably more, over the next 5-10 years. And so our job is still to go out there and serve these homeowners at the highest level. This is still an incredible career to be a part of, guys. We just want to make sure that we do it the right way. And when we say the solar coaster, we're seeing it in real time. So Jonathan Gibbs, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, again, in the comments, let us know what questions you want us to ask on the next one. And that next one's going to be phenomenal, because can you kind of just like tease it real quick, John, and then we'll bring it home what the next podcast will be about?
I mean, we've sold almost 10,000 systems in Washington, Oregon, where people don't save money. And so we've had to learn to position the product with a higher driver than savings. Savings is actually not a really high driver for consumers in America. We get excited when we can justify the expensive dinner for a friend's birthday, or, a pair of $400 sunglasses on vacation when we have like 12 pairs at home. Like, we actually like spending money. We don't want to save money. That's not really a core driver. So if you're sitting down in front of a customer today and you're talking to them about $20, $30 savings a month or $50 savings a month, you're really missing the opportunity of how to position solar. We are entering into what will be some of the most uncertain times ever in America. An American president has not been shot at in 41 years. The economy we're seeing incredible inflation. We are going to see a reduction in consumer spending like we have never spent before. And we have a beautiful product, right? We can give value to homeowners without them spending money. And if we position that product correctly, if we position this product about meeting the essential needs of their family, creating certainty in uncertain times, you can tap into a bigger driver, a bigger consumer driver than just saving a little bit of money.
Wow, that's going to be incredible to talk more about that. And that'll be on a future Snapper Chat podcast. John, you're down?
For
Awesome.
now.
Well, guys, thank you again so much. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow Jonathan Gibbs on all social media platforms. He's doing incredible work in the solar industry. And until then, guys, let's all go off mute and Snapper Chat on me. Snapper Chat on three. 1, 2, 3. Snapper Chat!
Snapper chat.